letting her take that because it doesn't matter what I say, she'll want to say something different.
Somebody talking to us the other day, we were talking about all the growth and everything, and they were using one of your phrases from the
then when we get that back, then we can schedule.
Hey there, Adam, I'm on. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Adam? So supposedly you guys can hear me, but I cannot hear you. So something in IT needs to do something for me here. I cannot hear a thing. God damn it. Oh. Hey, Andy. Okay, can you hear me now, Adam? Adam, can you hear me?
Run through your items on the updates for month over month. So if we can unmute Commissioner Moore so he can start.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mike, yes sir. So he can unmute.
About 2 weeks.
We can't hear him.
I had a cold. It was just allergies, you know, just like a couple days and then it was gone. And because all that pollen, you know. No, my temperature, everything was fine. Yeah. Isn't he on vacation?
They said he was having a tough time Tuesday, but
Hello.
Is that,
I just have
is that him?
Adam, can you hear me?
Oh, yes sir.
All right, great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whatever code that is nowadays.
Yeah.
That might be the second or third time.
I mean, let's pull the agenda back up. Okay. Adam, let's get going here. Hear me?
Yes sir.
All right, everybody else can mute their microphones for a second. That'd be great. Everybody, before we get going, sorry I'm not there. My plan was to be there, but just to be honest with you, I did take my COVID vaccine yesterday, and I was one of the people that ended up getting the fever and the chills, and I am literally laying in bed right now. I cannot get in the car and drive. So, but we know it's working then. That's the good thing. So if I can actually call the meeting to order, if we could please rise for the invocation and the pledge and roll call.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll.
The Honorable Chopper Davis. Here. The Honorable Kenneth Burgess.
Here.
Mike Kidd.
Here.
Robert Reilly.
Here.
Wendy Longman.
Here.
Mike Bishop.
Here.
Bobby DeFelippis.
Here.
Greg Leonard's.
Here.
Chairman Mike Moore.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now's the time for public comment. Do we have anybody that wishes to speak today on either, I guess, WebEx or at a kiosk? No?
No, sir.
All right, we'll move on to approval of minutes. I'm going to get a motion to approve the February 17th TDC minutes as presented.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. We have to do it by roll call. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
The Honorable Chopper Davis.
Yes.
The Honorable Kenneth Burgess.
Yes.
Mike Kidd.
Yes.
Robert Reilly.
Yes.
Wendy Longman.
Yes.
Mike Bishop.
Yes.
Bobby DeFelippis.
Yes.
Greg Leonard's.
Yes.
Chairman Mike Moore.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move on to presentations and funding requests. We're going to D1, Dade City Bike Hub presentation update. I think Melanie Romanelli is there.
Good morning, Commissioner Moore and everybody else up here at the TDC. Oh, do you have a picture? We good to go, Mr. Bacon? All right, and then we wanted to thank you again with the for the funding for the Visitors Information Center. We did have a groundbreaking 2 weeks ago, of which many of you were able to attend, and we appreciate you all coming out. Just wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at. Quick project overview for those of you who weren't aware of what we're doing. We're just going to show you a couple of things that the Bike Hub will be and give you a schedule update, and we'll talk about ribbon cutting. For location, we actually are right here in the heart of downtown, across the street from the trailhead at the Hardy Trail, on the corner of Church Street or Church Avenue and 8th Avenue, or 8th Street. Some conceptual bike plan and park area maps that we have been working with. This is part of a larger concept where we'll have some, hopefully, some inclusive and ADA accessible park playground equipment and amphitheater for outdoor venues, splash park, splash pad, and then of course the Visitors Information Center. That just gives you a little bit of an idea of where it's at, right there by the trail. And this is the layout. We'll have 2 open porch areas with seating options, as well as bike amenities such as the name of it escapes me, where you can put your bike up and fix it. The interior will be basically an open space. It will house brochure kiosks. We're looking for some sponsorships for some electronic capabilities so that we can have the events and the activities up on the wall on TVs, bicycle parking, repair amenities for traveling bicyclists, and public restrooms. Give you an idea of what we're thinking about on the inside. We want to be able to have a mobile area for our partners in the tourism industry to be able to display what's going on in their area. So it can be anything from, we'll say like the Dade City Heritage Museum or even the West Pasco Museum if they want to bring something over and put it in there to pull people across. This is the front elevation, and you have to forgive my coloring skills on the computer, they're not the greatest. We did have the groundbreaking, as I mentioned earlier, and construction is underway. We have the footers set out and ready to go. Hopefully they'll be pouring concrete in the next few weeks. We do have, or next week, we do have a Kumquat Festival happening this weekend, so we didn't want to make too many changes to the area or have equipment out for overflow parking that happens next door to this. Give you an idea of the timeline. In 2019, we purchased the Poison Corn property for this activity. Last year, we spent time getting the bid out, doing the design build. Permits have been issued and construction is undergoing now. And in June, we hope to have the ribbon cutting. Having said that, nice and quick, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Hey, Melody, thank you so much. And, obviously what a great addition to the community and the county as a whole. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but I know Andy was there. And thanks, Andy Taylor, for getting the Mayor Hernandez and then Adam and Gil and on a picture on the cover of the Laker Lutz News. So he sent those pictures in, so you guys got some good press out of it as well. So that was nice.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Mayor Hernandez, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I want to ask, what's the square footage of the building indoors, not the
It is
porches?
1,500 square feet, give or take. It's like 1,476 or something like that, around 1,500. All righty.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
The
having us
mayor's not
come
there
in.
with the building, sorry. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you so much, Melanie.
We'll see you in June.
Good morning.
The second slide and the first hyperlink.
Good morning, everybody. Colby Gason, Communications Manager. I have the pleasure of presenting our Q1 report. Typically, this is something you would have seen our agency do. You have me. I'm going to take this off if that's all right. All right, so just a quick overview of how our first quarter went with marketing. We started the new fiscal coming out of the pandemic, and we continued our Get Back to Adventure campaign, focusing on outdoor adventures. The website continued to show growth. A large contribution to that was from the digital ad buys we were able to do through CARES. As you know, we were able to more than double our marketing budget, specifically for Q1, because that was the time restraints on the CARES funding. So it really hit between October and December. So a lot of these strong numbers are going to be residual of that. So KPIs, we're doing really well. You'll see we're a little low on tracking for the earned media, and COVID is definitely a contributor for that. So usually the way it works is all of last year we would have had media and market where we would have started to see those turns. Some are more immediate, but sometimes they take into the next fiscal as well. So not having that momentum from last year, we don't necessarily have that same push we would have. With that being said, from some visits we hosted right before the pandemic, we are still waiting on turns from those. So those will hit probably in December. I know there's a Canadian article that we're waiting to turn, and they aren't going to publish that until travel resumes. So there's good press hanging out there. We're just waiting for conditions to be right for that to be published. I will get in a little later on some really exciting things we're doing to make up for that now. Website visitation, we are on track to meet that goal. Organic search, little low. We're still focusing on strong blog content as well as some other SEO strategies in order to help boost that. You will see we have surpassed our goal for social media and newsletter signups and followers by quite a bit, and I'll probably set that a little higher going into next year. Bounce rate and average time on session, as you know, a continued conversation that we're going to address with the new website, but we are aware of that. Page view targets also on track. Website overview, overall traffic was up 92% compared to Q1 of last fiscal. And just to keep in mind, let me think. I don't want to misstate this. COVID was not a factor. So these are comparable numbers. Q2 presentation compared to last year, that's where we'll really start to see those number differentiations. So these are pretty comparable. Unique page views were up 94% with average time on page, showing that people are spending more time on our content. So even though overall it is low, people are spending times on specific pages. This also could be a result of the CARES Act sending high traffic to our site from October to December. Again, the bounce rate fluctuated, overall staying relatively the same, around 78, which is better than it was. And overall traffic, 90% of our traffic to our website is new with 10% returning. This means that we do need to work on a better strategy of retention and making sure that people are coming back to our website for references. So we want to see that even out just a little bit more. Website traffic sources, direct traffic was our #1 driver to our website. with Other being the leader this time last year, that means we're better capturing where these people are coming from. So we've been able to either put URL tracking links on them. We have just a better overall idea of where the traffic is coming from to the site, which personally I'm really proud to say that we've improved on. Organic traffic is trending in the right direction. So even though we're low in the KPI, we are still trending with 39% up year over year. And Madden's Facebook retargeting ads were the top referral to the website behind our feature on travelandleisure.com. Our top landing page was our home page. Our second most visited page was a media buy we did with Connect. It's a blog post for outdoor fun on Florida Sports Coast. And our third most was our health and safety page. That was a direct result of CARES. That was a requirement for CARES, not only to have health and safety messaging, but also we drove them. Oh, hey.
Sorry, we were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we got it going.
All right. So overall, Madden Media has been a fantastic resource for us. They've even taken their time to do some Google Analytics training with us at no cost, which really helps me in analyzing our data. So we know exactly where people are coming from, and the top cities really align with who we're targeting in our paid advertising, as well as some other campaigns we're running. So it's really reassuring to see our organic and paid traffic match what we're doing when it comes to digital advertising. Speaking of Madden, so just a little context they provided for us. Travel spending is projected to increase 23% heading into next year. Safety messaging is still really important. People are still looking for those small weekend trips, extended short, kind of still traveling on those shorter parameters. We're not quite back into those long booked trips and still looking at the drive market. So we're not planning on really reaching too far out of where we've been targeting. Again, that being the in-state markets as well as the Atlanta, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte area. We are looking at doing some experimenting on Facebook just to kind of test some fly markets, see how they do respond to our ads. And we have seen that gone really well. I'll get more into that in Q2. So overall, how has our digital advertising been going with Madden? We've seen nearly 3 million display impressions delivered at a 47% CTR, which, as you can see, is well above the industry standard. That means our content, which you'll see on this next slide, is still really resonating. These are the current creative. We're actually working on refreshing this, still focusing on that outdoor travel adventure, which again, we're still seeing really resonate with people as they look for travel. Overall, they've sent 40,000 clicks to our website, and we've had 44,000 video views. So really strong numbers. And as I mentioned, opportunities for improvement. We're going to continue to look at refreshing the creative. There's a new digital buy that we can shift some funds for that we're going to explore for scallop season. Since we saw such a tremendous increase last year and saw a good response to our marketing efforts, I want to make sure that that is very strong leading into this year, especially not having the blackout that we did. So my goal is to really make sure that we're capturing those summer adventure seekers leading into our scallop season. And then just a quick recap on some other paid opportunities for CARES. You can see the impressions, almost 11.5 million, 5,000 clicks. You can see the total investment, very, very, very strong CTR rate in the CPA as well. So overall, we had a very successful CARES campaign, and it was a tremendous boost for that time that we were able to run those ads. PR overview. In November, the biggest opportunity we had was the feature in travel and leisure. It was in regards to the opening of Snowcat Ridge. We were mentioned in the very first paragraph. And again, just referencing back, we did see that drive a lot of traffic back to our website. Overall, we had 30 mentions in the quarter. Coverage had a social amplification of almost 2,000 on Facebook, a total readership of 55 million, and an overall sentiment of 76% and 24 neutral, which is really fantastic. That means overall majority of our press is really positive. I know for a fact there were some articles based off of our TDC meetings where Adam addressed the budget and impact of COVID, and those resulted in those neutral articles. And then due to COVID-19 and weather restrictions, we did have to push some FAM opportunities to the second quarter, but I will talk about those in my regular marketing update. For social media, the best thing we did with that CARES Act money is we invested in a lot of native content. One of the best buys we did was with Matador and Airstream, where we hosted the Pickett family and we got this phenomenal video content. We have since boosted it on our own, and we continue to see that drive really strong engagement. We're really seeing families connect with this, as well as, again, getting back to that outdoor adventure. Email marketing, as a result of having to go dark in marketing from March to May of last year, we were able to roll some funds over with ePro Direct, which helped us moving into this fiscal. It kind of helped us extend that budget a little more. So what we did is September and November, we sent out emails. We announced the opening of the sports campus, which had happened in August, and we also announced our newest attraction opening at the same time. Blog content, again, we continue to focus on outdoor activities, promoting local events, and just trying to do what we can to drive that strong SEO. Any questions on Q1? Yes.
They did, is the RFP still not released? Is it for the website? Do you have any update on when that's going to be released? I thought it was February was the goal.
Yeah, it's the goal. We're still waiting to get it back from the county. So the procurement documents are in. So we're still waiting for the website procurement to come back from the county to go out the bid, and we're also waiting for a PR agency to come back as well. So we have two documents we're waiting on.
You have think another month or two, or?
I'm hoping. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Of course.
I don't know if it's an appropriate question now, but did Chasco get a hold of you about the powwow this past weekend?
The powwow this past weekend?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll go back to them.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
And we're going to go
Just a deep dive into the media report. Again, our display ads continue to deliver for us with impressions and strong click-through rates. Google video display ads, again, continue to drive high impressions with strong click-throughs. One thing I would love to share with you guys is across the board, when we have run our videos, every vendor we've used has said, bar none, our videos set the bar for success. So when we create video content, we obviously do a really good job with that. And as we can see, it still continues to be relevant. Top keywords for SEM were RV camping and deliver the most clicks to our website. So we're looking into how we can expand that more. Travel Spike was a run from COVID that just finished. It was a native buy ad that delivered 13,000 click-throughs to our website. Lead generations continue to be strong to our website. We've seen an increase in destination guides requests coming from the submission on our website. In October, we received 40 requests, so we were down just a little bit. Top states continue to be New York, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. As we start to see where people are visiting us for our website, where these requests are coming from, we make sure that all of our marketing aligns with targeting those destinations. Social media, we concluded our Escape to Adventure giveaway, which was incredibly successful. I will honestly tell you, when Chris and I embarked on this, we had a goal, and we did not expect it to go this well. It generated 3,900 post likes and had a reach of 102 people. 102,000 people. Total entries, yeah, that's not very impressive.
Yeah,
It's
that was really good.
102,000. Let me back up. It would help if I could read numbers today. We had a total of 700 entries for this. So again, it was a completely outdoor adventure giveaway. We need to just keep running with that and hitting that hard. We have some other giveaways that we are working on that Elizabeth is helping us with legal as we continue to expand more, but we will be doing more giveaways. That is for sure. So a huge thank you to our partners. And the winner was actually selected in there from Orlando. So they'll be coming into market in May. For the month, we grew in followers. We saw the most growth on our Instagram, as following us was one of the requirements to enter the competition. So we are now well over 2,000 followers. Another great reason to do another giveaway. And actually, we're seeing a lot of growth on LinkedIn too. So we're seeing a lot of business professionals seeking information about the destination, which is really exciting. For PR, we have 43 mentions for the month. This past month, 97 social shares and an average SEO impact of 63%, and overall very positive sentiment. Press coverage had a total of 14.7 million, a result of an article going viral, which I'm still trying to work on the placement of how we got included in this, but it was the perfect dog-friendly paddleboarding adventures. And it had a total ad equivalency of $27,000. So it got picked up everywhere, definitely went national. So again, that may have been a contribution of Visit Florida. I can't directly contribute that, but we do submit pitches to them. So sometimes when we see kind of those random ad placements that do align with some of the pitches, that could be an opportunity of where it came from. For the press kits we sent in association with the Escape to Adventure campaign that we pushed, we sent out 20 press kits to influencers and journalists focusing on food and beverage. Out of a potential reach of 154,000 followers, we had an influence reach of 131,000. So that was really good. From the feature posts and stories of the journalists and influencers, we had a total of 24 stories and 8 grid posts. Those resulted in 700 likes, 2,600 video views, and 78 comments. And that cost us about $300 to send those boxes. So these virtual press kits are high ROI for us. I'm going to jump around just a little bit, leading into another virtual opportunity we had. We did a virtual kumquat fam. So what we did is we essentially literally took journalists that we hand selected using Cision. We sent them press kits that featured vendors. It also included kumquats, several different products. It was probably one of the best press kits I've personally ever seen. It was packed to the brim. We sent it to 7 journalists, including Visit Florida, and they then participated in a Zoom that we led in office. And what we did is they heard from the growers, they heard from John about the festival, then they got to meet 3 festival vendors who chose to participate in this. Everybody had amazing human interest stories. It wasn't just about the products. We got to eat them together, try them together. The press was really engaged with it. And the most encouraging thing is that they had delved into these boxes before the event. So they came with ideas, they came with feedback. They were highly engaged. One of those placements has already hit with Edible Tampa Bay. So I'll pull those numbers and present them next month. But overall, it was a tremendous success. And Visit Florida said it was one of the best press events that they had attended. And that's huge. And then upcoming FAMs, we had one this past weekend with Miami Living. That was one we had to postpone almost a year to the day because of COVID. And then we had the influencer, the Flohemian, slated to come into market this weekend. So we're busy. Any questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
Colby.
you so much.
Thanks, Colby. moving on. Let's go to the creative placement request for Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County.
We can get the presentation up real fast. Thank you so much. This is D3 is an opportunity for a funding request for the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County. Since the open of the sports campus, there is no creative placement or ownership of Florida Sports Coast or Pasco County within the destination. And then we talk about sports tournaments, events, families that are coming here for 3-4 days at a time to play in said tournaments. We want to showcase them. We want to showcase you, the destination, a little bit more than just having our guide, our destination guide there. So before you today is some draft creative placements for interior pictures, and then also a proposed signage mural on the cul-de-sac in between the front of the sports campus and the hotel. So what you see here is the picture of the mezzanine VIP area that has our creative, obviously our logo, and just things, what else to do. So it sparks the conversation of what else can we do once we're in the destination. So the creative can change. This is just examples of what we can do, but that's on top of the mezzanine. This is on zone A, I believe, on the back court. Again, golfing, beach volleyball, and again, we have some other sports available as well. Obviously, our call to action on our creative is our website to learn a little bit more about the destination, what else visitors and guests can do once they're in the sports campus. This is on top of the cheer section, in the middle, on the other side of the mezzanine on zone A, and this creative would be on both sides of zone A and zone B. So we'll have full visibility when guests and visitors or sports teams are coming into the sports campus to play on both sides of the facility. That is it. If we can go back to our DMO presentation real fast. Today before you is a request for two initiatives. One is the creative for the inside, but also there's the request for the funding of the monument sign. So the creative design interior murals is estimated at $20,000 to $25,000. The Florida Sports Coast monument signage is estimated at not to exceed $55,000 with a total estimated cost at $85,000. This would come out of our special projects funding account, and we currently have a little over $1.1 million in that account. And again, that account is to be used for non-reoccurring expenditures, which this would justify as a non-reoccurring expenditure. The identifier of where the Florida Sports Coast monument sign will cul-de-sac that separates the sports campus and the hotel. So the request for you today is to approve the funding request for $85,000 for the monument sign and the interior creative design.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The monument sign, is it digital?
No, it would be a concrete signage. We have a digital sign out on Lawana Ave as you're turning into the sports campus. So there is a digital component there. So we wanted to have it a destination, Florida Sports Coast, welcome to Florida Sports Coast, Pasco County, right dead smack in the middle. And so when teams are driving up, that's the first thing you see as you're going into the campus. So it's not going to be digital. Digital would be an added cost. So we wanted to keep it more structural. So it'd be concrete.
Yeah, because the variety of things that could be there, that's why I was asking digital. In my opinion, I'd rather spend a few extra dollars and go digital so you can constantly update what's going on there.
Right, so that's where the digital component is out in the front of the campus as you first turn in. There's a monument there, but it's got no destination branding on the monument. It just has an LED monitor that welcomes teams and then tells you what's coming up for their event. So if you want, we can go back and make it an LED. People
that are arriving there aren't stopping and looking at the sign. You know, you're slowing down more here and you're seeing more what's going on here. Okay.
And then also once you walk inside, there's monuments, or not monuments, there's monitors inside that tells you the schedule of what's going on and welcomes teams and visitors once they're entering the facility.
Once you're inside, that's more of what's going on at that particular time. Outside might be more long term.
If that's the board's request to go back,
I think it would probably be closer to 100,000 would be probably the number based on what we have at Sims Park.
Yes, sir. It's going to be an added cost. Or we can move forward with the creative design interior murals right now and then come back as.
Yeah, I'd entertain, we've got a 1.1 million, I can see putting 10% of it in that sign.
Yes, sir.
So I propose to go ahead with the creative murals and go back to work on the monument sign.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question first? Is this going to be this total number? Is that for the creation? Or are we paying any of that money towards?
It's all included. It's for the creating of the creative design. It's for the production. It's for implementation. So they're soup to nuts, 85,000 out the door for the monument and the creative. So we've already received one proposal from a local vendor, and we need, according to county policy, we need to seek 3. So we need to go out and get 2 more quotes, but that is for creative, production, and implementation on the walls.
And that includes money. Are we paying Rad Sports? Are we paying them?
No.
That's just to create it.
Yes, sir. And that's to create it and put it on. So our money's going straight to the venue.
Work with them. They were going to try and charge us to put that signage up, considering how.
No, according to our agreement with Rad Sports, we have real estate in the building for destination purposes.
Sounds good.
Hey, Adam, real quick. So what we had also talked one time about, I think more like I hate to say it, like kind of a marquee area, kind of like a visitors area. You can walk up and grab, obviously grab pamphlets, but there could be like a representative there from the DMO, et cetera.
Yes, sir. And actually that's in another item later on down the agenda, but I can cover it right now.
No. Go ahead. Go just follow your agenda. I just wanted to check. I know we had previously talked about that. So cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we need a motion here, Adam?
Yes, sir. It's a funding request.
Well,
and
I did make a motion, I think.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Your motion was to move forward with the creative.
With the murals, but let's do some more work on the signage.
On the monument sign. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is everybody, hold on a sec. Is everybody good with that? Guys, hold on. I got to call the motion. Is everybody good with that motion?
Yeah, Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
So actually a question and a statement. So the question, I just want to piggyback on that. So that creative is a one-time fee, and that's not a fee that's going to be every year.
No, sir.
It's
one time.
Inside, and okay, I always like to just say that out loud. And I actually disagree. I think that the branding that we're trying to do, having that huge sign that says Florida Sports Coast right there by that brand new beautiful facility would be perfect. And the digital stuff is great, like come scallop with us and stuff, but I think there's other areas for that. So I disagree. I think that would be the way we should go right there.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor, and then do I have a second for Councilman Davis's motion? I also have I really can't have another motion this time, but I need a second for that, or there was another idea on the table to follow staff's recommendation. Okay, do I have a second on Councilman Davis's motion? Okay, that died.
I'll second.
Okay. Well, you're going to second Councilman Davis's motion.
Correct. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So I'll just call the motion then. Madam Clerk.
The Honorable Chopper Davis. The Honorable Kenneth Burgess.
Yes.
Mike Kidd.
No.
Robert Reilly.
Yes.
Wendy Longman.
Yes.
Mike Bishop.
Yes.
Bobby D. Felippes.
No.
Greg Lenners.
Yes.
Chairman Mike Moore.
No, I'll be an aye, so motion passes. Okay, Adam, you're going to take over, I think, for Consuela.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Consuelo is in Gainesville. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Consuelo is in Gainesville attending the Florida Sunshine Sports Council that is comprised of many other DMOs, CBBs, sports commissions in the state, talking about legislative priorities that revolve around sports. So I'll be your Consuelo today. We had 4 really good tournaments in March and leading into April. We have 6 tournaments, Pylon, 7-on-7 football, Insider Brand Exposure Basketball, Final Four at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. The 7-on-7 is at Starkey Ranch District Park. We have USA Adult Men's National Hockey Tournament at Advent Health Center Ice. We have the Preferred Athlete Scouting Service Southern Jam at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. We have another USA Hockey Adult Women's National at Advent Health, and then Florida Premier Spring Showcase at the Land O'Lakes Complex, Starkey Park, and Mitchell Park. AAU tournament with West Coast Karate Championship. The venue canceled the rental contract due to COVID-19. We've tried to find another venue in Pasco County, but the venue was available in March, but no availability in March for the tournament. The event was relocated to Orlando, but we are still in conversation in trying to get them back into the destination. Site visits. The DMO hosted a virtual site visit with Pylon 7-on-7 to find a new venue to relocate the event that was originally scheduled for Starkey District Park. The venue connected via video call to Veterans Memorial Park in Hudson, Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, and Land O'Lakes Recreational Complex and J. Ben Harrell Recreational Complex in Holiday. The venue decided to relocate to a previous venue that they originally held their tournaments at. Consuelo has secured 5 new basketball tournaments that was previously held by Blue Star Basketball, and that will be held on the end of July, running all the way through the end of the year in December. Other updates from the sports is that the Florida Sports Foundation just announced that they will not be moving forward with their in-state grant applications. They have stopped that. We have taken advantage of that, but they have stopped funding for in-state visitors and teams. They are now focused on out-of-state events that are coming into Florida, and they are funding those at 100%. And that is about it for now. One more announcement, and I'm sure Councilman Burgess, you probably want to talk a little bit more about this, but the Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Center and Wellness Center made the world's top 10 best padel venues and is the only venue in the U.S. that made the list. So that's something to hold our hat on. So good work, Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Facility. That is all for the sports updates.
Excellent. Congratulations. Congratulations, Councilman Burgess and the city of Zephyr Hills. That's great news.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. What was the venue what was the funding source that was supporting in-state but is no longer supporting?
That is the Florida Sports Foundation. Those are the grants that we go after once we have a secured event, and it's refundable based on economic impact, room night generation out of state attendees.
You said it was, and then told me what it was, and I forgot what the beginning was.
Right. It was the Florida Sports Foundation.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Colby, you ready to come back up?
I technically already gave it earlier.
No, well,
my apologies, sir. I skipped ahead.
That's okay. I figured you got it, but I didn't know if you had anything else. So.
Nope, unless there's any questions.
Nope.
Thank
All
you.
right, well, let's go back to, now we'll go to Gabby, Industry Relations Update.
Good morning, Gabby Vajanes, Industry Relations Coordinator. From the Industry Relations Update, we have new businesses added to our portfolio. Starting great relationship with them as Double Branch Artisan Nails in Wesley Chapel, the Dented Kit Keg Ale Works in New Parichi, Vampire Penguin, Main Street Bakery, and the Butcher's Block. We also want to take a moment to recognize all the businesses, tourism businesses across Florida Sports Coast that have been certified by Blitz Tip and the Human Trafficking Foundation. And these businesses are the Hampton Inn Odessa, Hilton Garden Inn Wesley Chapel, Sleeping in Wesley Chapel, Sunshine Inn Motel in Dade City, the Lift Adventure Park, and Skeleton Key Marina. From the Film Commission, the Education Council of Film Florida has requested that all film commissions in Florida provide a current list of educational institutions with film-related programs, just to promote more opportunities, job opportunities within the industry. So we have reached out to PHSC and Marchman Technical College in our county, who offer digital media and digital cinema programs. Our office has already started conversations with them for future partnerships. And lastly, but not least, I want to say that I feel so honored and proud to be part of the Human Trafficking Foundation board. I was recently appointed to the board, and I can say how happy and excited I am to be part of this cause. Any questions?
Congratulations. Is it a county board or a state board? What is it?
It's the Human Trafficking Foundation board.
Okay, but is it a county board?
It's a county, yes.
Board, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you.
Have a great one. All right, Adam, back to you. We're going to do destination report.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was just looking for the clicker.
Clicker.
So, destination for the lodging industry for January 2021. You can see that I'm moving on to the next page. So we were down only 10% in occupancy for the month of January, down a little over 12.5% for rate, and average revenue per available room, RevPAR, was still, again, 21.5% down. We've changed some things. We've taken away the two comparisons of properties and new properties, and just started moving forward with just all-inclusive data. And then we started to add in new comp set, which is Hillsborough and Pinellas counties all combined into one. Any questions on the STAR?
Chairman Adam, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
And maybe I missed this. I apologize. I don't think I've been to most media, but the 3 new properties, can you tell me what those are?
So it was the Hyatt. So it was a year ago. It was the Hyatt. It was Spring Hill, and I believe it was the new Hampton in Trinity.
Okay, because I was thinking of the new properties over in Wesley Chapel. I was going to ask maybe when we're going to bring those in to kind of see how that's impacting as well.
Absolutely. Right. So the inventory will be increasing. There is a Woodbridge Suite, 2 Woodbridge Suites coming up. Those are extended stays. And then obviously the hotel at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus is Marriott Residence Inn. That's extended stays, and that's going to be opening at the end of this year, at the beginning of December.
Like the Fairfield that is open, is that in there and all that?
That's in the comp set, yes. Yes. It's in our data that we receive.
I have another question. When I have tough time putting Hillsborough and Pinellas together. One has football and hockey, the other has baseball, one has multiple beaches, the other one doesn't. So I think the reason for the destination is that tours would be totally different, and
Well, this doesn't segment out the reason why they're coming. It just segments. It's the lodging data for what's happened.
But I would say people are coming for a different reason, different time of the year.
Right.
So that's why I wondered if we might not separate those two. That's my thought.
We can talk to a representative with the Smith travel report.
Look at it for a while that way. Look backwards and see if there's a time of year difference, and maybe we should know that.
So when we're looking at products in our comp set, I mean, we're a different product than Citrus. They are a little bit more leisure, a little bit more manatee-ish.
Well, but that's why you have those separated, and that's why I thought maybe the difference in those two counties might.
We can separate those, and they can be their own comp set. And we just talked to our representative with Smith Travel Report.
I mean, you might take a look back and the figures might all be the same if you look back 6 or 8 months or maybe a year and a half ago. I just would, my first thoughts that there are two different packages.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, Adam, why do you think Hernando's a tad bit higher than Pasco? I just find that odd.
And occupancy?
ADR.
That's always the question. It's the ADR game. So it's a game between occupancy and ADR. Hernando is doing better in ADR, but they're not doing as good as in occupancy. So they're supplementing rate for occupancy or occupancy for rate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so their occupancy is definitely. Well, so your thought is basically they just don't have as many choices, so they can have a higher ADR.
I'm going to let one of the hotels answer that question. If one of the hoteliers want to explain the ADR versus occupancy.
Well, ADR is definitely market driven. I apologize. I did the last 20 seconds I blacked out there because I'm just not sure that ADR for 2 is correct.
Which one?
The ADR for Hillsborough and Pinellas combined. I mean, that's like New York. I don't know if that's right.
Well, it's right. It's the data that we're receiving from the STAR report.
I would.
Maybe it's a combined ADR.
It's not. There's no way that's
the $250. Yeah, $252.
No.
Is that a combined?
2020, 126.
Yeah. Is it a combined ADR?
It's probably a combined ADR because you're combining 2 destinations.
Yeah.
Probably more like 125.
Yeah.
And plus, their occupancy right now is not 92 and 0.8 either.
No.
I worked in Hillsborough for a long time, and
right.
I mean,
so it's definitely combined.
Might be $10 above, but it ain't. That's winning some GM of the year awards right there.
Right.
But I apologize. I missed the question. I can try to help. I didn't hear the question.
Okay, so the question was here. Let me jump back in. The question was, why do we think the ADR is higher than Hernando County than Pasco County?
Maybe it's seasonality, maybe it's an event, maybe it's something specific that happened in January.
I can tell you a little bit more on that. That's actually really good. That's a really good point for somebody who's not a hotelier to point that out. For Hernando to beat us is embarrassing, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We're all cannibalizing each other, and everybody keeps going down $10 or $20. So it's just a cannibalization. Everybody's scared because it's the first month we actually had some revenue. Fourth quarter 2020 was a little better, but we actually have things coming in. We're getting ready for Super Bowl, and everybody was just heads in beds, and they just cut it. And Hernando just stayed with what they always did. Look, it's within $1, and we all got scared. Yeah. So I'll tell you, that's my opinion.
No, I appreciate it. That's a good point. And for the hoteliers, in the room, when we have, some of these tournaments coming in and things, when you have thousands of room nights, sometimes, over a week's period because of these tournaments, I mean, there's a way for some of the hoteliers maybe just to kind of get together and kind of have a off the record handshake that, hey, we're not gonna lower our rates so much that it affects us. Affects our ROI. I mean, 80's still so low to me. 84, 83. I don't know. And they're nice hotels. You guys have great hotels, great properties. It just seems so low.
So, and in other counties, we have done that before, outside subcommittees. And I was thinking of maybe Bobby and I maybe trying to head that up and talk about how we can all kind of get together and make sure we're not just watching each other and lowering it $2 each and just staying the course. But it's a big gamble. One of us are $2 million down last year. We're trying to save our employees' jobs.
I think a few of us did stay together, but the outer county or the outer bends, we'll call them, dropped their rates tremendously.
Right. We have a lot of people in 19. We've got big boxes in Hillsborough. They're, not doing 252. They're, they've got 300 rooms, 400 rooms to sell. It's tough. But Hernando just stayed with. They didn't do anything. They just kept doing their thing. So that's a really good point.
Fortunately, unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, we can't control rate. That's on the hotelier side. But what we can try to control is occupancy.
Right. I know that. That's why I was asking.
And,
Adam, that's why I was asking the hoteliers,
yes.
And you just made a good point of maybe having it, again, it's outside our wheelhouse, but or not within our wheelhouse, I should say. But if have a committee or something like that, like you said, you've done in other counties and other areas, maybe they can work together and help each other.
We have had discussions with the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association about starting a chapter here in Pasco County. So maybe that's the first step in getting a hotel association together.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, with the growth coming and look how many hotels are popping up, like you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Anyways, all right, well, moving on. Go ahead.
Thank you for the discussion. Moving into TDT revenue for the month of January, we were down a little over 28%, under $60,000 for the month, bringing our total fiscal year to date collections at $848,751, which we are still down 14.5% year over year comparison. So I said this before, the TDT calendar recap, we won't start to see a growth in TDT revenue until we start seeing our collections come in from April in May. So hopefully by May, we'll start to see an increase of revenue and start getting back on the positive side of collections. That's it for revenue and lodging information. Wanted to go into our Q1 Treasury report. On the left, our total budget that is in place this year. You can see our actual expenditures out of the professional services account. We've only spent 10%, 26% out of admin, 28% out of total marketing and promotional buys, thanks to the CARES Act funding that we received in Q1. It allowed us to start our original budget or fiscal year 21 budget in January. And then our operations are at 36% of total budget for our department. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
I just wanted to step back one. You asked in that last part here, your collections and stuff, is that working out real well with Fasano?
Oh, yes, sir. So we don't know, they know that information is still privy to us. We can't see it. They know who's turning in their TDT and who's not, and they are regulating who's not. So some of the slips, the tax slips that come in are for, let's say, January. Some of them don't meet the 20th deadline of every month. Those actually get rolled over to the next month. So without Fasano's office stepping in, that would have never happened. That would just been pushed to the wayside if the state was still collecting our revenue. So it's worked out great for us. The reporting factor, knowing what revenue comes in from each quadrant of the county, really tells us where the funds are actually coming in from. So
enforcement, you're talking about enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Is more up to date, more on the spot.
More real time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great.
And hopefully by next meeting in April, we'll have a presentation slide on quadrants that are submitting for the tourist development tax. So we all know what quadrant of the county is generating the most TDT revenue.
Chairman Adam, I have a quick question. Chopper, that was a great question. Made me think of, did Mr. Fasano ever report back to us as far as, I know there was going to be some additional collections on the enforcement of it, as far as the Airbnbs and the people who were really renting, but they weren't paying that. Did he ever say anything like, hey, it's been a great success, or still resistance, or?
I'll have to follow up with him on the vacation rental side. I know we are still looking at different dashboards and metrics of tracking. So Key Data Dashboard is what Visit Florida uses to track vacation rentals. But we want it specifically for Pasco County, because if they're an unincorporated Pasco, then we have an opportunity to collect those funds. Right. But right now, we don't have the geographical identifier to go after and say, where's our money based practically.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, with COVID,
I'll have to follow up with the tax collector's office.
Because there's a lot of money out there floating around that we're probably not seeing.
Yes, sir.
It'd be a great first year to get it in.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen, right?
So Adam, I'll reach out to the senator and I'll see if he'd like to come in like May or June and give an update.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Andy's in there. Andy. So.
Sometimes you go on faster than I think, so I need to go backwards a little bit once in a while. And when you take 20 seconds off, that's usually when I'm talking.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I'm with you.
Moving right along into the week 3 legislative update. I do have an update, and I'm sorry I wasn't here at the last TDC board meeting to discuss some of these bills that may have an effect on the way we do business, especially the tourist development tax expansion, which would expand the allowable use of TDT authorization under 125-0104 for the tourist development tax and the convention development tax to finance flood mitigation projects and improvements with these funds. The bill also referenced a referendum to renew both taxes every 5 years, specifically saying the laundry list of language in the item. But I saw on the House Ways and Means Committee this morning that they striked the referendum in this bill. So it is now moving forward. It passed the House Ways and Committee meeting yesterday. I'm sorry, on the 22nd. And it's now moving on in the House. Sorry, let me get my notes here. The Senate bill first, so there is a sister bill, Senate Bill 2008. That bill's first committee is the Community Affairs Committee, and it's currently not on the agenda. Moving forward to the public records exemption.
I'm sorry. I have a question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So that first one, something about flood mitigation?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you why?
So listening to Representative Avila out of Miami-Dade County, who is the sponsor of the bill, talks about the sea level rising beach, basically floods during a hurricane, and everything is tied into tourism. You can tie in indirectly or directly businesses or industries into tourism. The bill states that, go back. So the bill would be for local government to have another funding source and to stay flexible for projects, for water quality, water projects that includes flood mitigation. And not only flood mitigation projects, but also improvement for future issues. So we, as the tourism industry in Demos,
Adam,
we get...
Adam, real quick,
yes, sir.
just to go back to Wendy. So Captain Wendy, I'll jump in a little bit here. What that basically does, and I think it's probably unfortunately does, is you may have, commissioners in a certain county that will basically, I hate to use the word rob, but they will possibly just rob the TDC budget to work on, like you stated, flood mitigation projects. I foresee that happening in some areas. So I don't think it's good. And if you start here, it's just going to open it up more. So you may get to the point where they start saying, okay, well now, road infrastructure is tied to tourism. And then they'll open it up where, you could use TDT dollars for road infrastructure projects. And it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. So if this passes, Adam, you can jump in. My fear is that this passes, it's just going to open Pandora's box to every year more legislation and it will just rob the TDT, the DMO's budget. That's just my opinion.
Could I interject here? Hi, everyone. You would still have to amend your tourism plan for using the monies for other uses. So that is something that you all would make recommendations on if the Board of County Commissioners suggested changing the allocations of how the current tourist development tax revenues are used. It's not an automatic being able to take it and just use it.
Yeah, you would. Yes, of course, you would have to have a majority of the board, and they would have to vote on it. But it'd be the county commission that voted on it. But if you have a commission that wants to steer those dollars away, this opens that up. So, yeah, I think I get that, but I just think it again opens Pandora's box. You do that this year, next year is going to be something else. The year after that's going to be something else, because people have always tried to, get their hands into those TDT dollars for a number of years. I think, Adam, you probably agree.
Well said. I mean, those dollars would be spent on flood mitigation projects and improvements, where it should be spent on marketing the destination and bringing visitors in and creating a sense of place, branding, and community. Without those funds, without those TDT dollars, we wouldn't be able to do our jobs. Because that's how we're
surprises me too. Somebody from Miami, when you have beaches and things like that, because you already use TDT dollars in this for sand and just like we can, right? So you can do beach nourishment and things like that already, but this just, again, I don't know. It's people getting their hands in the money. All right, I'll get off my soapbox.
The biggest scare for us as the industry was the referendum. That was the referendum that was tied into the bill. We haven't seen a referendum for any expansion on any previous bills that would expand tourist development tax. So having the referendum that would put it back on the voters every 5 years, our job wouldn't be on marketing the destination anymore. It would be on education a year and a half before voters voted on it. We would be out in the community talking on the negative impacts that this would have on tourism in Pasco County. So the referendum was huge. They strike through and they amended the bill, which was a positive step forward. So
that's good news.
Yes. Moving along into the next bill, the public records exemption. This is a simple bill that deletes the existing statutory sunset of the date of the exemption. Currently, it states in the statute it sunsets on October 2nd, 2021. So basically, this is a trade secret as defined in 812-081 held by a county tourism promotion agency, is exempt from any of the state constitutions so basically what this is if we have a database and we are marketing to that database, it's not public records for that database to be distributed. So this exemption prohibits us sharing that database and keeping private information private. So basically that's what it is. There is no current House bill, but expectations are the House will file early in the session in the coming weeks. Visit Florida. This is statutory date. I'm sorry, let me back up for a second. This legislation will repeal the Visit Florida sunset date that didn't move this past week. In the committee, Senator Hooper is the sponsor of this bill, and it would take the October 2020 to October 2023 date and extend it in this year's legislation, removing the sunset date completely. So Visit Florida would be enacted without any sunset. It also adds an important budget policy change to the agency. It states that Visit Florida may carry forward any unexpected state appropriation into the succeeding fiscal year, which would be good for us. So the funds that they didn't use on marketing, they can roll that forward into the next year and create more plans for us to take advantage of and co-op on.
This, from what happened the last couple of years where they tried to get rid of Visit Florida to make it more of a permanent thing, it seems like to me. So this all looks very positive.
Yes, sir. The Senate bill has passed from 2 out of 3 committees. The House bill has not been heard yet. So more to come on that. Vacation rentals. I'm sure our TDC attorney, Elizabeth Blair, is all over this. This bill establishes new criteria under the Division of Hotels and Restaurants within the Department of Business and Professional Regulations to issue licenses. But another amendment adopted in the Senate would include funds to hire 3 staff at DBPR and 2 at FDLE to assist with the new regulations. It still requires the license numbers to be clearly displayed to the public inside the establishment and when they advertise. The legislation still maintains a current grandfather clause that is in the statute, whereby the proposed prohibitations would not apply to local ordinances in place on or before June 1st, 2011. With the changes to the Senate bill, the local governments would maintain all options that they currently have, such as ability to require inspections. So the bill redefines advertising platforms as entities rather than pertaining solely to individuals. The notable changes to the bill this year is that it now requires the platforms to collect and remit all taxes, including TDT. In the past, the issues who collected and remitted the taxes, the platform or property owners were very controversial. So now, to your point, all platforms on vacation rentals have to list the TDT sales tax and remit that back to either the tax collector or the state, whoever collects the tax. And last but not least, the big tech boycott. There was no change again this week, and it's possible there will not be any changes to these bills all session. In response to the social media platforms that ban President Trump and related accounts, 2 bills have been filed that, if passed, would significantly impact advertising and marketing options for DMO CBBs such as Florida Sports Coast. So Senate Bill 810 and House Bill 439 prohibits government transactional involvement in certain companies and products. This bill is an agency or local government entity may not purchase or enter into or renew a contract for purchase or provisions of any goods or services made, sold, or provided by Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Inc., etc. So again, these bills would significantly impact the way we market on social media. So good thing they're not moving in any of the House or the Senate. So more to come on that. And last, I didn't include this on the PowerPoint, but it is in your packet, the budget. To date, the governor's office has proposed a $96.6 billion budget for fiscal year 21-22, which includes a $50 million budget for Visit Florida. And that is the legislative update for week 3.
All right, great. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Old business. Wait, nope. Sorry. Tourism Development Services and Project Coordinator position.
Yes, this is, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just an update to the board that we are optimizing our team. So we are taking Kayla's position and implementing or expanding on her job duties and responsibilities for event services. So we will have someone at every single event that we are a part of, either at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, Sandra Vandenberg Tennis Facility, Advent House Center Ice, any of the county facilities that we currently use for sporting events. We will have a presence there. You will have a presence there, handing out information on the destination and handling guest services, if you will. So update on that.
Excellent.
You want to come up here? Because this is kind of your baby.
I would say it's Mike and I's baby.
Yeah.
You can have it.
All right. So who's ready to team up? So in light of us being able to do our tourism banquet and the EDC being able to really have their robust annual awards celebration, we have decided to combine our efforts as the 2 economic drivers for the county and to celebrate everyone at our Team Up celebration. So this is May 6th. It's at Advent Health Center ICE. Because we had encumbered some funds from our original plans, the EDC was nice enough to be willing to kind of lay that foundation and move forward from that. It's going to be a really exciting event. There's going to be networking. There's going to be a great dual presentation from Mr. Cronin and our very own Adam Thomas, who will essentially be emceeing the event, giving the economic update from both the EDC's perspective and tourism. And then Mike Rayburn is going to still come and give a phenomenal keynote. It's musical, it's engaging, and he poses the question, what if? Which ironically I feel is more relevant this year than it was last year. So what if a pandemic comes and completely disrupts life as we know, So it's going to be a really exciting event. We are going to have in person. There is a dinner component to it. That is limited. So for those who are maybe not so willing to come in person, there is a virtual aspect as well. So we will have just as a robust show virtually as we will in person. And honestly, I think it's going to be a very, very rewarding event for both of us. So, yeah.
Thank you, Colby. I mean, that's a great team effort, and we look forward to attending it. So.
Are you buying us tickets?
No.
2% discount for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the new TDC agenda system. Civic clerk.
Civic clerk. Civic clerk is, I'm sorry, let me get my notes here.
And I think tickets are on sale now while he's doing that, right, Colby?
Yes, sir. Tickets are on sale now.
Okay.
So
be there.
To provide, my apologies, Chairman. I wanted to provide the board an update that we are going to be using Civic Clerk for all agenda items and agenda packets moving forward. So things might look a little bit differently coming into your inbox for next month, but we are using the same system that the Board of County Commissioners use. It's going to be a little bit easier on us when we're creating agenda memos and items. So I just wanted to give the board an update on Civic Clerk and new items. Mr. Chairman, if I may, we skipped over old business, Chasco Fiesta funding updates and the visitor profile report follow-up comments.
Yep, I mean, you jumped ahead, Adam, so I figured you were going to come back to it. I didn't want to mess up your show, so go ahead with Chasco and then the
My notes got mixed up here. I apologize. Mr. Chairman, can we go back to? Oh, thank you, Gabby. Okay, I'm ready.
You have Chasco and then the visitor profile. We already did the treasurer's report.
Okay, yes, sir. So on August 12th, 2020, the TDC recommended funding from the marketing matching sponsorship program for the 2021 Chasco Fiesta in the amount of $5,000. The original event was scheduled to take place in Newport Richey, April 9th through the 17th, 2021. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, the Chasco committee made some changes to its regular 9-day scheduled event. Since the local businesses who usually provide sponsorship monies to the event are on the struggling side due to the financial hardship caused by the pandemic, Chasco Fiesta is requesting consideration from the Tourist Development Council to recommend funding from the marketing matching sponsorship program to advertise the Chasco Fiesta event that will be hosted throughout 2021. So instead of the almost week and a half, 2-week period, it's, I believe, 9 or 11 events leading all the way up into September.
Well, what I don't know 9 or 11, but there's quite a few events. What their objective is to keep the name out there, and they're doing smaller events. Like I asked if they did the powwow. The powwow was this past weekend. They're going to have a car show, golf tournament, things of that type of sort. All labeled under Chasco and then spread out over the year.
Right. So the DMO is requesting the TDC to consider the facts mentioned above and make a final recommendation. It is important to mention that should the TDC approve the funding for Chasco Fiesta's new plans, the county will only reimburse for out of Pasco County advertisements for events held before September 30th, 2021, and Chasco Fiesta will have to meet all regulations of the funding requirements. So before you today is a funding update request to amend the previous motion in funding the marketing matching sponsorship program for the 2021 Chasco Fiesta in the amount of $5,000 to still continue the $5,000, but throughout the year and not for the specific dates of the original event.
Did you choose September 30th because of fiscal year?
For the fiscal year, yes, sir. Those monies have to be spent during this year.
So what events are we looking at here? Because we have, obviously tourism. So it's a golf tournament's local, car show is local. What events are going to bring people from outside of, I'd say, the entire region that might stay in a hotel?
The car show would be a weekend event, so they'd probably be here for the night. As an example, at least maybe one night.
Has the parade already happened as well?
They're not having a parade. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Those are the type of things that with large gatherings that they're not having. It's the smaller gatherings. So it would be people staying in hotel rooms because of bringing the car show, bringing their car here, and then staying. But I propose I would like
how many cars? Because so Greg Linners, which is there, they have a car show like what, twice a month, Greg?
Once a month. Yeah, we average about 150 cars. Yeah.
But the car show is normally associated with Chasco's well over 200 cars. I'd say well over 250.
Okay, so Greg, just out of curiosity, so if you have about 150 cars. I've been there many a times. It's a great show. Are these local people typically, Greg, or you think they're coming? Are they coming from outside the region? What do you see at your car show?
Yeah, they are coming out from outside the region as well. I mean, it depends on what time of year, obviously. We have a lot of the snowbirds come down between October and April. So we'll have a growth period there. But yeah, for the most part, they're coming from out of county too. I would say probably 30% are probably coming from outside the county.
Okay, so if you're 30-40%, then okay. So
yeah, Chairman, if I can make a comment.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's my kid. I think we all agree that this would basically be like the branding thing that I discussed. We're trying to keep Chasco Fiesta alive, right? So we're trying to make it last for the rest of the year.
That's exactly what it's all about.
It's not going to create any hotels rooms. So if I agree that foundationally,
so
probably disagree, but keeping it alive and building for 22 and 23, that's what we're discussing. I think if I may just throw that out.
Yeah, that's exactly what we had a work session with Chasco Fiesta, City Council did, and that was the whole purpose of it. And it was my proposal actually is that they continue to put their name out there and put their events out and spread their events out so they continue to keep the brand name for next year.
This marketing matching program is not necessarily for heads and beds and room night generation. It's for brand exposure and marketing outside of the area. So it's a co-op program, just such as we do with Visit Florida.
Yeah, just making sure we're following the rules. Elizabeth, I mean, do you want to weigh in at all? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually have quite a few thoughts here. Number one, the existing agreement then is going to be, I'm assuming, terminated. And this is going to be a new agreement. So we're going to need the details as to what all the events are, preferably when they're going to be occurring. And now, has that information been conveyed yet, or is it still in the development?
We have events like Chopper said. There's a bowling tournament. There's a golf tournament. There is the car show. I saw 9. We have the list. Yes, ma'am. It should have been included in the packet.
Okay, that would be very useful. So this would be able to be signed off by the purchasing director, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I propose that we back this funding. $5 grand up to the 30th.
So Elizabeth, you're okay with, you think that fits the mold and we're following our policies?
Well, I think we have several different programs with different parameters. Some is strictly a heads and beds reimbursement. Some is purchasing sponsorship. And then we have the advertising marketing match, which is where Adam is putting this. There is requirements for what that marketing has to be and who it's focused to. So as long as they're actually able to comply with that, I'm okay. Now, Adam, have I got you correct here? This is the program?
Yes, ma'am. So last year, this board took the leadership approach to amending that program to market outside of Pasco. In previous years, in 2019, we implemented this program to market outside the region of Tampa Bay, since we're in that media market. The majority, actually not the majority, but a lot of our visitation comes in from the Tampa Bay market through Downs and St. Germain's research and their data that they provide on a quarterly basis. One of our top markets, if not the top market for Pasco County, is the Tampa Bay market. So to exclude them to market inside Pasco County, or I'm sorry, inside the Tampa Bay market didn't seem reasonable because of our research that we received from Downs and St. Germain. So the board approved, the TDC board approved of the amendment to the program last year just to market outside of Pasco County to attract visitors to the events. With that was the only amendment to the program, and other stipulations have to be marketed to guests and visitors for this specific program. Our logo has to be on all advertising. Our creative has to be included. Our language has to be included as well. Radio ads, PSAs, we have to be included in that, and it's all reimbursable.
Can I ask a question, Adam? You said it's like a previously approved funding. In other words, when Chasco happened before, it was a one-time event, right? Within a span of a week, 9 days. So we're just talking about spreading the same money out further is all we're really doing, right?
Yes, sir. So it's not just a 9-day event. Right. It's 9 events throughout the remainder of our fiscal year.
Okay.
It's still
okay with it. So we got a motion. So I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
The Honorable Chopper Davis. Yes. The Honorable Kenneth Burgess.
Yes.
Mike Kidd.
Aye.
Robert Reilly.
Yes.
Wendy Longman.
Aye.
Mike Bishop.
Yes.
Bobby D. Felippes.
Yes.
Greg Leonards.
Yes.
Chairman Mike Moore.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Adam, I think Colby should have to be at all 9 events, though. Make sure that.
Yes.
Okay, Adam, do you have anything else?
No, sir. We can go into I2, the visitor profile report update from the comments from previous TDC meeting in February. Again, I apologize for not being here. Questions about the visitor profile and economic impact report that was provided by Downs and St. Germain. They sent follow-up an email clarifying some of the questions that council had proposed to Joseph St. Germain. So sporting events follow up. For the sporting events in October and December, they were at the following events: Wiregrass Think Pink Mini Club Tournament, the AAU Wiregrass Monster Mash Mini Club Tournament, Florida Senior Games, interviewing at Advent Health Center Ice, Sarah Vandenberg Open Championship Insider Exposure Basketball Tip-Off Tournament, Lightning City Gymnastic Cheer Challenge Cup, and Savage Race and Savage Blitz. In addition, they plan on interviewing the following events later on this month: AAU Sunshine State Grand Prix, Grand Fondo, AAU West Coast Karate Event, Dade City Annual Kumquat Festival, Preferred Athletes Future Stars USA National Championships. They've also the board also asked Downs and St. Germain visitor interview at attractions in general. Downs and St. Germain schedules interviews at these times recommended by the property contact general manager, sales coordinator. Moving forward, they will be at attractions, seasonal attractions. And then I guess a question on the likelihood of these visitors coming back to Pasco County. So right now, the table in your package shows below the criteria of scaling from 1 to 10 and the likelihood of return. So they gave Pasco County all visitors an 8.7 at a scale on 1 to 10 of rating how their stay was, and then the 95% was likely to return. So just following up with those comments or questions from the previous meeting. And I believe that's all I have, sir.
All right, great. Thanks, Adam. Let's just go to, TDC members have anything going on in your city or property. If you can just start from your right, go down.
I did not hear. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Board updates from your right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
From right.
Thank you, Chair.
Pick a chair. Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, start over here. Thank you. No, I was very excited about the Kumquat Festival on Saturday. Those who don't know, the new brewery in town is going to be opening that day, so that'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully everybody comes, stays safe, has a good time.
And I also want to echo that and congratulate John Moore and everybody with the festival. And I'm going to try to bring my family, which is a large family, lots of kids, and support Pasco County. Battling for 27 minutes trying to get over the bridge to come out here. Once you get to this beautiful Dade City area, it is so relaxing to, I wish I could stay here all day, honestly. So I'll be here Saturday.
I got nothing.
I have history in the making. So, for the first time in over 20 years, Leadership Pasco has added Tourism Day. So we did a test run on Monday, focusing on the east side and how important sports tourism is to our economy. And then we went over to the west side and spent the rest of the day talking about islands and stilt houses and fishing and scalloping. And it was, we got a few more tweaks to do. I will be calling on my hotel people to present that day. So, but this is really very exciting. And this has been a 15-year goal in the making, and we finally got it done. So,
what month will it be?
February.
I would like to add that during the travels of Tourism Day or in Leadership Pasco, we will be having a Tourism Jeopardy game virtually that people can take part in. And it's all things tourism, all questions related around tourism and our product and what our destination offers. I'm excited because I get to be with Captain Wendy all day long and really showcase. This is huge for Florida Sports Coast and the destination because we're still in our young stage, our adolescent stages of our brand. That brand ownership starts at home. So this is a huge component to our advocacy and to getting the word out of what Florida Sports Coast and tourism really means to this economy. So kudos to you and your leadership for getting Tourism Day and Leadership Pasco.
Well, thanks for being my vice chair.
Well, and go along with that. That it's you're reaching out to young leaders in the community with the Leadership Pasco program. So if they take it back to their job sites and their entities, then it's a win-win situation. Yeah. Now, I do have one other question. How are you doing a 2-day thing, like east on one time and west? How's that gonna
We
work?
are jam-packing it into one day. So
are we going to take 1 year maybe presented in the east side and next year presented in the west side?
No, I think we actually, the way we've got it right now, because we started off at Sarah Vanderburg, which is a phenomenal facility. Then we went over to Wiregrass and then Center Ice. And then we went over to the west side and just went out on Captain Bob's boat for a couple hours, went into the stilt houses, talked about the lighthouse, the impact of scalloping. And then I've got a few other little tourism things that I'm putting into.
When I went through Leadership Pasco, the bus tour was 1 day, and that you're talking about jam packed. So you're jam packing this tourism, and 1 day is going to be a heavy load. That's why
I don't know. I think we did pretty good on Monday.
Yeah, I think it was pretty spread out. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I
you can take advantage of why you're moving from one facility to the next. You're doing it on a bus.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a 56.
Yeah, so I can have speakers on the bus and, I've already kind of revised the itinerary a little bit so that there are those fillers in there. So, my hotel people can meet us at Center Ice and talk about the hotel component while we do a working lunch. But yeah, I have everything just jam-packed.
That's great. That's great.
So.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Adam for bringing up the Padel we have at Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Center. Interestingly enough, that was not in the original design. As we were going through the process, Pascal brought to us that this is like the fastest growing racket sport in the world.
It is.
And so it was kind of a late add to the design, but it's worked out very well. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of like a combination between tennis and racquetball. They have the glass-walled courts or smaller courts, and that's the best way to describe it is a cross between those two. But it's pretty interesting. It looks kind of difficult to me, but also, as it was mentioned, the Kumquat Festival this weekend, but we also, in a few weeks, Zephyr Hills will be hosting our 11th annual Barbecue and Blues Fest, and I understand that they're in some conversation with you guys about some assistance and funding there too. So that will be on April 10th, a socially distanced concert and a drive-through barbecue earlier in the day. So we're looking forward to that too. Thank you.
Great.
We've actually had a very, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Keep going.
I'd like to say we've actually had a very busy week. I'm sure Mike has as well. It's been, we've been sold out for like 3 to 4 nights in a row. So I'd like to say thank you to Florida Sports Coast for all the youth hockey teams. They definitely kept us busy over the weekend and kept me on my toes. I'm sure it'll keep me further as we go into this week with AAU basketball. And I can see it just parlaying into the next 6 to 8 weeks, actually. So thank you.
Yeah, once you get up and go to the Kumquat Festival early and then come to Newport Richey afterwards, they have 45 artists that are going to be spread out around town from noon to 8 o'clock at night. So you can just tour around downtown and take a look at the different artists and hope you purchase a few things, And I'd like to one other thing about the monument sign versus, I'd like to take a look. I'd like you to take a look at the signs where there's signs. I guess they're signs, digital signs in Newport Richey. We have in Sims Park. They think that when you had the murals put inside, that you're given an ideal about what's available. But I think if you have on the sign, you actually can say, well, you're here. This is what the things that you can see that are going on right now. So that's why I want the digital sign.
Yes, sir.
So on the digital sign, Elizabeth, we'll have to look into that because we do have county ordinances that do prohibit those in certain areas.
Yes, we currently allow digital signs for what's determined to be a major attractor, something like the fairgrounds. I certainly think that this complex would qualify based upon the criteria. And I'm assuming that the already existing digital sign does comply with all the requirements of our ordinance to be a static messaging, not scrolling, not flashing, etc. And that it's an on-site sign, I would think. So we have standards that we would have to make sure this complies with.
Right. Yep. Thanks, Elizabeth. Anybody else?
Last but not least, and going out with a bang. So great. Unfortunately, I can't make the Kumquat Festival. I was thinking about trying to bring the wife. It's her birthday that day, so got to keep her happy. I was going to try to bring her and bring I have a night. I'm assuming you guys still do the car show. Yes. Yeah, I had plans of bringing my 54 out there and all that, but I'm gonna have to pass this year. So, but anyways, shops at Wiregrass, business as usual. First quarter was great. We're actually beating 2019 numbers. A lot of activity behind the scenes with regards to leasing. So hopefully a lot of things to announce on the horizon. Some of you have been to Wiregrass, probably seen we have Sephora under construction, and they're actually getting ready to open April 5th. So within the next week and a half, 2 weeks or so. Again, a lot of stuff on the horizon there. Now that things are starting to slowly come back to normal, obviously we've had our car shows and our fresh markets, but we are ramping up more events. As you know, we have the alcohol consumption permit throughout the entire common area. So we're looking at introducing concert series again in May. And stay tuned. We have a new and improved Symphony and Lights show that just got approved about 2 weeks ago. So we're going to start redeveloping that a little bit too for the show in November, December. So that's it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of great things going on at your mall there. We frequent it often, my family. So, hey, just one thing, and Richard, and with Saddlebrook and the Center Ice, and then the DMO team. What a great event that hub was. We spent some time out there. I was out there quite a few times, and they are so thankful. I sat down with the director, and he said, "Thank you to Pasco County. Thank you to Governor DeSantis. You guys were open. You allowed us to come here." He was just very, very thankful that Florida wasn't, and Pasco County wasn't shut down. I mean, he reiterated that over and over and over again. So I think Richard was about 4,500 room nights at Saddlebrook, if I'm not correct.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, about 4,500 room nights. And those, obviously, we know those people are eating in our restaurants and shopping in our shops. So great event, and came at the perfect timing. So good job to everybody that stepped up for that. And they said, they love this area. I talked to lots of the, sorry, I meant Robert. Anyways, great event. Good job, everybody. And like I said, it came at the perfect time. And those people said they would love to be back. I talked to lots of families, and they really, really enjoyed their stay here. So with that, I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. And we're adjourned.
Picture? Thank you.
No
picture? Oh, did it get canceled?
No.
Oh, because Mike Moore. So you were serious about that. I got all their stuff.